A great director to me is somebody who steps back and allows the actors to do their thing. And David is very much in that school of understanding that. You fix something when it's not working, you know? And you encourage people to go with what's working. And a lot of that is not an intellectual dialogue and this is your character and you should do this and that. It's not that. It's just trust.
He will often direct with a word or a phrase. And it's so amazing because you just immediately know what he's talking about. A lot of times he'd say, you know, give it a little more mystery or give it a little more wind. And I remember for that entrance, you know, he was like, it needs to feel like a wind. Like, you know, you just kind of come in like a wind. And he had the music playing and it was a slightly breezy night. He played Shostakovich over like loudspeakers for us on the street because he felt that we needed to walk to the music and the mood should feel like that piece of music. So I mean, it's so exciting. You know, he's so impassioned and he takes such time and he's so meticulous.
With David, I always felt I could be completely free because later on, I can always rediscuss or at that moment say, this disturbs me and maybe this just embarrasses me. You know, just as a human being, I'm too embarrassed to be shown naked like this.
Feel me.
Sometimes there were some close-ups where I remember David was very, very close to me, very, very close to the camera. And I almost felt he directed me like an orchestra director would direct live a violinist player. Or say, bring that up, no, bring it down. Now, you know, though he didn't talk to me, I could sense his presence, where if I would go very languid, he had encouraged me to go in that direction. And then as I was just going too far, I would feel his body tense, and so I would stop a little bit and go sad, and maybe he didn't like me to go sad, so I could also sense his presence. I thought maybe that's the way it works in an orchestra, with the orchestra director not only giving the timing, but also giving the feeling right then and there, so that every concert, even if it is the same piece of music, might be different. And sometimes David directed like that when he could, especially on close-up, because he could come very close to us.
Oftentimes we would do a take and he would stop. And he'd sort of walk in from behind the camera and he'd sort of clasp his hands like this and furrow his brow. And I'd be there and I'd be sort of standing there and I'd sort of, you know, mimic him sort of probably unconsciously. And we'd be kind of standing there thinking and thinking. Nothing would be said, just sort of thinking back. And he'd say, okay, let's try it again. And I'd be like, okay, yeah, good. And it was like this sort of eerie, non-spoken, and yet so much communicated, and yet I couldn't even tell you what it was, really. But we go back and we do it again.